Okay, I'm gonna go through, try to say this as best as I can, about my analysis on this whole thing. And I'm gonna go scene by scene. So in this whole scene, you've seen this most likely. Um, you know, I'm seeing this as Elphys. Dranis as Elphys. Old Dranis as Elphys. Because you can kind of put them kind of onto, like, reflect their personalities on this. Because Dranis, he writes down speeches. He's a spokesperson for peace, for tranquility, follows the law, has the responsibility placed on him to maintain what's already there. And you can see here, they're writing down things on this paper, probably a speech, a peace speech. And then they hear the chaos. And if we reflect Dranis' sister as Moros, Elphys is aware of the chaos, but doesn't really go to check on it until it gets bad. Kind of like how Elphys and Dranis' current situation, Elphys only goes to check on Dranis when it gets bad. That's when they go and check on him. Kind of what Dranis was teasing Elphys about, honestly, in the present. But yeah, that's what I see this as. Like, they're here writing about peace for the people. That's very important. They're doing this, Dranis is doing this for the people. And yet they have chaos in their own households and they don't do much about it.
Quiet.
This, I'm pretty sure, is a altar to Elphys, actually. So, why is it? We have peace over here. But then we have chaos right there, out of their reach, out of their sight. And then you see this as Moros. It's not Dranis' sister as Moros. And then you have him, who's just an asshole father. But also it makes sense for the time period, once again, because women are treated as people who can follow, like, maintain the lineage, keep the bloodline going.
Very thin ice, girl. Do you realize how much grief you inflict upon this family?
How much grief you inflict. Think of it as Moros. It makes sense.
When must it end?
You deserve it. Have you pitched enough of a fit? Are we done now?
Keep going in this direction, and I will not hesitate to disown you like the ungrateful child you are. I'm unsure even a lowly beggar would be able to put up with your attitude.
But you see what's smart here? We can empathize with her, because we're in this time period. We know he's an absolute bitch and should let her choose what she wants to do. But in this time period, to put it into this context, this is actually what they would normally do. You know, if a daughter doesn't marry to someone, then they're seen as a disgrace. They're actually disowned. Because that's what women were seen as, what they were known for, to spread the lineage. But we can more empathize with this, and not as much with a deity of chaos, whose main goal is to be chaotic, and to cause harm to characters that we have grown to love. So if we can reflect this onto this situation, which we can empathize with more, it can show a lot of things. Because Moros, we know she is doing this. She doesn't want to be with anyone because she wants to make her own choice. She wants to find her own person, someone who will love her for her. And their only good relationship, mind you, is with, well, at least stable relationship, is with Dranis. And it's a very playful relationship, once again, with pranks, with jokes. Very playful tag kind of relationship. Like, kind of on and off, like very... They are mean, but it's more of a playful mean. Once again, with jokes, with the pranks. And I think it just really relates.
Great! Sure, whatever! Great father...
Like, they do it out of spite.
Daughter bonding, by the way. Loved it.
Because Elphys is all like, like, what's up with you? Like, why? Or, once again, we don't know how they got both of these entities into the box. Once again. So, like, whoever it is, just like Like, why are you causing so much chaos on people? Why are you such a nuisance? And we see in this situation, it's because she just wants what's best for her. Once again, remember, Moros is based on desire. Dranus' cubes, it emphasizes people's desires. It's not evil. It just emphasizes what their desires are. So you can see it almost as a twisted sense of following your own soul, your own passions, your own desires. So with this, instead of Moros and it being like, I'm doing this because it makes people, like, because it's needed, because it's my job, because I'm doing this so that they can fulfill their own desires and do what they want to do. I'm following the fates, I'm following the rules. But at the same time, Moros isn't. He is, but he isn't. It's so weird. But, like, I don't know. In basic, this is probably a visualization of Moros just with a different person.
I knew Ella was wrong to keep you. You mistake.
Let me just emphasize how much I hate him. I understand you, but I hate you. But realize, she's not loved because she's not following the rules. It's not based on her as a person. It's based on what she does, what she chooses to do. She's going against the rules, and therefore she's going to be disowned. Like, when you're a father, you don't do that. But realize, who's there for her? Dranus. The only one there for her is Dranus. And remember in the beginning when we first got introduced to these two? Dranus is like, oh, they probably don't want to talk to me or speak to me, like, at all. And yet he's the one that really cares for her. Like, when he's at the shrine, asks for her to be okay. He doesn't care about anything else. He doesn't even really care about himself. He just cares if she's okay and that she's happy. And once again, that is emphasizing desire. He doesn't care. He just wants her to be happy. That's his main desire. And if you see this once again, Elphys and her as Moros.
Well, geez. Sure is a big mess in here.
Remember, he wants to try to kind of slowly get to it. Kind of like, okay, we're gonna try to make this humorous so we could possibly talk about it, but not really. Like, it's a very, like, once again, like Elphys, acknowledges that the fates exist, but then again doesn't. Like, it's a very weird thing. Meanwhile, her, she's just like, get to the point. And he sees all this chaos.
Father sounded more upset, too. I was wondering why. You're not happy about it like you usually are. Did he?
Not happy about it like you usually are. But the thing is that she's not happy about it. Kind of like with Moros, they're not happy about the way they're being treated. They want to, once again, like Moros is just like, I don't like that no one's going to my shrine. I don't like that. I don't want to be bad necessarily. I'm not bad, but I will be what you want me to be, kind of thing. Like, they don't usually show how much it actually hurts them. Kind of like Dranus, at least the new Dranus, like, doesn't show that it does hurt them.
Was something said?
Also, I love how this is kind of, in a way, like a parallel to the conversation that happens later with Elphys and Dranus. Because, like, in this situation, it's the opposite. Not exactly even the opposite, it's the same thing.
He always has something to say.
Tries to make it seem like they're strong. tries to make it seem like they are okay. Because of Elphys's already like determined way of thinking about them. That they just want to do this because, they have fun. They don't mind the way that people treat them because this is what they want. They want people to treat them this way. They're okay with this. They're not. They simply put up with it, but they kind of like they hide this part. Kind of like how Dranus, the new Dranus, hides this part of themselves. The part that really is hurt by the way that, well, not Dranus, I guess Moros. It's so hard now. But, the way that they actually feel.
I'm just deep in thought about how grand the next prank's gonna be. It's gonna be hard to top this one.
Puts on a slyness facade. Both of them do.
Right.
Notice they both do.
Listen. Pranks and all aside, lately, I know things have been very tense.
Once again, looking at the chaos. It takes evidence of chaos to make them see that they're hurting. Or else they wouldn't ask. Remember later on, Elphys is like, I see there's a lot of chaos happening at the camp, just like, what's up? They only check in on Dranus when things are going wrong.
Obviously. But, as your brother, you know you can talk to me if something's bothering you, don't you?
They try to reach out.
I'm always gonna be there.
Say they're always gonna be there, but...
Yeah. Talking. One thing you're good at. Right next to flattery, Mr. Silvertongue.
But they take it as an insult. Remember later on, Dranus, when Elphys tries to see what's up with Dranus just responds like, oh, you're just doing this to taunt me. You're just doing this as part of the game. Not that you legitimately care about me.
I'm anything but a liar, Zoe.
Sure.
I like how they did that. Like a moment of silence. Slave coming in, clean up the mess. I'm sure that means something, but I also like how they're also adhering to the time period. We like that. But also, the slave being there to clean up the messes. Realize, Dranus does not say anything to the slave about this. Doesn't say anything to the slave, just lets them keep going, do what they need to do because it's their job. But realize how she talks to the slave, just like, why are you here? You're cleaning up my messes. I can clean it up myself.
Right.
They see the eye. But also, this is a torn apart piece of the whole thing. What exactly did this paper say? I don't even know the answer to that one. But it also shows the flower, too. But once again, they have a full-on bad reaction to that. Because I feel like they assume that they figured out about the Doombox. And he's just like, oh shoot, they're gonna figure it out. And because of that, they're not being truthful.
Zoe?
What?
You know what? That, well, I don't want to impose. I'm just a little, on edge about,
Just say it and leave me alone.
I feel like I want to go deeper into that, but I also don't know much to say. There's something there. Like, because after Drenna sees the eye, they back away. They grow tense because that's the sign of chaos. And they remember, we see that and she's standing right next to it. It's kind of like ironic, like it's kind of foreshadowing in a way that she's gonna be like she is the main champion of um Moros. But realize he becomes very stuttery. But instead of showing the concern for her, he starts showing the concerns that he has and giving them to her. Like, all concern he had for her is kind of gone, and it's mainly just him. It mainly has gone to him. Like how Elf is. It's always about them, never about Moros. When it actually is about Moros and not Elphys. They make it seem like everything's about them, even though they might not intend for it to be. As soon as they see the eye, they make it about them.
in times like this, you'd think I'd be able to make a difference. I can make thought-provoking speeches, and yet
This is a whole
speechless when it matters most.
This is a whole tangent on Elvis. They're speechless when it matters the most. They can emphasize for hope. They can emphasize for peace. Thought-provoking speeches. But in the end, can they actually pull through when it matters? And that answer has definitely been, like, for the people. Because remember, Drennis's main desire is for her to be happy. But none of his speeches are helping her. So do they matter? That's the whole point of this whole thing. Because with Drennis, with Moros, they're basing it off of desire. They're basing it off of your desire. For example, Drennis's desire is to help his sister. But the thing he's doing to create peace, to make it tranquil, to bring about a peaceful era for the future, it's not helping her. So then why is he doing it? That's the thing that they bring up here. Because Elphys's ways create peace, yes, but do they fulfill the person's desire to help people? Which is in its own good and good-hearted. But can you still follow the rules while doing something for someone you love if it's the rules, the things that are keeping them from accomplishing that goal, from being happy? Like, I guess you could put a lot of character situations into this. Like, and notice all of these big events that happen in Origins, they're all focused around family. For example, the Braipu kids, that whole thing, family. The Cal thing and his found family, that's family based, but that's where all the most chaos comes from. Family. Notice when Drennis was picking certain things to give people, like their own thing, for example, they did the whole thing with the Braipu kids. Family. All of the things that they did this season and kind of contributed to are all related to one thing, and that's family and how you have to do hard things for family, even if it's not exactly peaceful. Because if Inpu just abided by the rules, just simply, like, didn't fight Mitch, allowed them to take the kids, would that be best? But his main focus, his main goal, his main desire is to protect his kids. But if he didn't go against the grain, his kids would not be safe. They would be dead. And with Set, that whole thing, even though it would cause chaos to bring Set back, realize how Set is now. Set is trying to make things right, correct the past, trying to see things in a different way, to help Ricaro, to help his family. If Drennis didn't do that, none of this would be happening. The only things because of what he's done, Brian's back. Because of what he's done, the kids and Impu are now able to be open with each other. Because of what he did, Roja, Dina, they now have someone to help them. The Romichi family, they have people to help. And all of these people are supposed to represent chaos. And that's why I'm wondering what's up with the Seductive Rose. Because the Seductive Rose, once again, we have Zerotino as Seductive Rose. And it's so hard to explain this. Because Zerotino is still trapped in the sword. You can defeat the sword, you can put it away, but Zerotino is still trapped. Maybe this will be a way to get Zerotino out of the sword for good. But that would not happen if Drennis didn't do what they wanted to do.
I might not be able to find the words to cheer you up right now. But I won't give up. I'm not.
They didn't talk through the entire situation. They just glanced over it. Once again, they clean up the scene, they start again. They don't acknowledge what happened in that room. The slave cleans it up, everything's back to normal, life goes on. They don't try to fix it.
Naive and hopeful after all.
Once again, naive and hopeful. Elvis. Meanwhile, that's still happening.
Stupid idiot!
Realize he saw the eye first. She saw the flower first. That's important. Because it really emphasizes what's going to happen later. Because Drennis looks down. He first sees the doom. She sees the flower first. Hope. Hope can only come from at first chaos. And even though they're trying to accomplish peace, Drennis, it turns into chaos.
Yeah. Do you despise me?
Wait, who is it?
Senya, do you despise me? It's okay to say yes.
They want the truth. Meanwhile, Janice is okay with lies.
What? No, of course not. Why would I?
The pranks. The servants always end up having to clean them up.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm sorry.
Moros and his ideals, they're able to confront what they did and emphasize how, it is them. They don't try to cover it up and tell them it's not me, it's you. Meanwhile, Alphys is all like, it's all your fault, it's not me. But Moros sees what is going on. Remember, they want to take over the gods because of what they're doing, because they don't deserve to be there. Moros is kind of more, they can show compassion in a way to the humans because they can see what's up. They can notice what their desires are, and they can, for example, if Drennis makes a mess, they're not going to leave Alphys to clean it up. Alphys never cleans it up. Whatever chaos is created, the people usually clean it up. And they have to deal with it. But Moros realizes the chaos that they create, and they find ways to help fix it in a way. They're there to fix it. They're not going to let other people do it for them. Kind of like Drennis is now doing things to try to fix up everything. Because they're like, oh wait, yeah, this happened. But they're not necessarily regretful for the chaos they created. They're not regretful for it. They just know that it should not be the humans' job to fix that. But in a way, like this is, Moros cleans up after themselves. They try to do good. But they can only do that through creating chaos. Once again, only good things happen when you butt heads a bit. You can only talk about things fully once you've come to terms that you have to talk about them and something bad happens. Like with Mitch, he had to go apeshit in order for anything to change with him. It's very cool.
Well,
Also, Moros, if we're saying the slaves are people, they're kind of asking, do you hate me?
can leave now as well.
It's not. Why would I?
But like, do you hate me? And they're like, no, why would I?
Thanks. The servants always end up having to clean them up. Look, I'm sorry.
Say so.
Well, you can leave now as well.
But the mess.
I'll do it. You shouldn't have to deal with my aftermath.
Very well, miss.
You shouldn't have to deal with my aftermath. All of the other gods in the Origins of Olympus, they're all like, oh, you have to clean up after my mess. Your issues, my issues are now your issues. Moros is the only one who actually does not want their kid to deal with their messes. Not even their kid, they just don't want others to deal with their messes. And I think that's actually very admirable, honestly. Because, like, they're the only one. Everyone else is like, you have to clean up after my mess. And they're the only one, really, that doesn't say that. Same as Set, honestly. Like, they were only forced back. Right now, they're trying to clean up their mess that they made. All of these are chaos deities. Dranus, a chaos deity. Set, a chaos deity. But they're the ones coming to fix their own messes. The other ones aren't. They're not trying to fix their own messes. And also, this shows every single thing attributed to Aphrodite, attributed to love, is all chaos. But that's because love is chaos. Like they say, like everyone says, love is chaos. And that's what's shown here, because Dranus, doesn't say anything to the slave, simply walks away. Says they're gonna fix things and walks away. And meanwhile, Dranus is here, cleaning up everyone's mess. The new Dranus. It's confusing, I know. But they're here cleaning up everyone's mess. Because the slaves, the campers, or the people, are not, like, they shouldn't have to clean up this mess. This mess is not theirs. So they should not be cleaning it up. If that makes any sense. It's why, honestly, Moros is not in the wrong either. Moros and Elphys have their own things that are good about them. They just need to find a balance. And then we have Dranus here. It's so weird when both of them have different names. I'm just saying how much I love this. This must have taken so much time. They go straight to Elphys. But I think this also kind of shows Dranus goes straight to Elphys' shrine, right? But even though she, Dranus' sister, does not believe in Moros, still worships at the shrine. Goes, at least, to the shrine. And Elphys' shrine is all kept up, all good, all. Also, this statue must have taken so much time. I swear, I'm in awe with how much work they put into this.
Elphys, I'm under a lot of pressure at the moment. I have the expectations of my parents to carry on their legacy. But in doing so, I can't help but feel like I'm sacrificing my relationship with my sister.
Remember this whole point. Elphys attains the rules, tries to bring peace, tries to do all this, but they're sacrificing their relationship with their family. Love. Love is chaos, and if you are not chaotic, you can't have love, because love is chaos. And that's the whole point of all of this. You can't have love without a bit of chaos. But if you're Elphys and you don't have any chaos at all, he's sacrificing his relationship with his family. And remember specifically his sister. His sister is his one desire. He has to sacrifice his desires, all of them, in order to attain this one thing and follow the rules. But Moros is on the exact opposite spectrum. You do your desires, you pertain your desires, but all the rules are thrown out the window and there's chaos. But you're fulfilling your desires.
I'm losing hope that I can salvage it.
Once again, they're losing hope that they're able to salvage it. They're a yin and yang. If you have more of one, you have less of the other. It's bad. You need a correct balance. Once again, Alphys is hope. Hope. And this is just showing the chaos. When they go to Alphys, they do it and show this side. They don't show what else happened to Alphys. Once again, Alphys is blind to everything except what they choose to see, which is the boy. And when they're at the shrine. And when he's at the shrine, he doesn't tell about what happened back there, all of the chaos that happened. He just says the aftermath.
Legacy. But in doing so, I can't help but feel like I'm sacrificing my relationship with my sister.
Once again, Alphys. It embodies the entirety of Alphys.
I'm losing hope that I can salvage it. She has already lost hope too.
She's lost hope too.
It seems. Everything she said.
But she hasn't necessarily lost hope. It's because she's fighting for it that she hasn't lost hope.
That makes me believe she doesn't want me to be there for her either. Did I do something wrong?
But he didn't do anything wrong. But he did. He keeps choosing order over his relationship.
I don't understand. I just...
Because he's always been taught, if he follows the rules, if he does this, if he does that, if he pertains to the order, good things will follow. But what's happening now is that he's losing his relationship with his sister, the one he cares about the most, and that's confusing to him because he's doing everything right. Which he is. But he's not.
Want my precious little sister to be happy.
But that's the thing, he cares about
I
his
hope
sister.
that isn't too much to hope for.
I like this transition so much. This one. I love it. Also how there's still people walking.
Bye.
You know you're obsessed with them.
Moros! What are you doing here?
You're very...
How they are not blinded here. They're not blindfolded here. However, they carry the blindfold around.
obsessed with them.
As a god should be. Shoot, get off! Your side's over there.
The turtle.
Once again, sides.
Well, now aren't we?
Also, how the eyes symbolize it, and how they're not blind to anything. They choose to see everything. They choose to see the bad. They choose to see the good. They choose to see everything. However, Alphys is blind. Alphys doesn't want to see the bad. They just want to see the good.
Can you blame me for not wanting you near my temple?
You think I can... Well, I doom people, I don't doom objects, I'm sure you...
They don't doom objects. That's important. Dranus's cubes, I've been emphasizing this a lot because it's very misunderstood. Dranus's cubes do not doom a person. They're called doom cubes, but it's because of what doom actually means. They are not the ones that doom them. The people doom themselves. Remember, Dranus's cubes emphasize the desires of people. They don't necessarily doom them. They just emphasize their desires. That's why with Set, they were able to use the cube for good, not for bad. Because just because your desires are emphasized does not mean it's bad. It depends on what your desires are. Momiji's desire was power, so therefore they became power hungry, and that was their only thought. But because of that, everyone thought that the Doom Cubes were bad, and that Tranus was bad. But then Impu got the Doom Cube, and his desire was to protect his family, to protect the ones he loved. That's his main desire, main goal. So he was given the power to do so, and it didn't corrupt him. Because it doesn't corrupt you, it just gives you the power to fulfill your desires.
It was just a person within this temple.
Oh, no, I saw.
One person that I'm...
Once again, Moros was still there, and you want to know why? 'Cause Drennis is emphasizing their desires. That's why they were there.
quite fond of, as a matter of fact. So prefer you nowhere near them.
Oh, did you answer their prayers? Is that what was happening?
I hope to.
They hope to answer their prayer. It's too much to hope for to fulfill your desire, because that means you have to go against the grain, you have to cause chaos. But that's why Moros is there. And that's so smart, because even Elphys doesn't know if they can fulfill this desire because they need chaos to do it, but their whole thing is no chaos. So how are they fulfilling this?
Oh, yeah, I figured you'd say hope.
Yep.
Figures.
Once again, I'm sorry, I keep confusing them. Moros's side is black, it's dark, but both of their sides are covered in darkness, just one's more than the other. And also, Moros's flame is pink/purple, same as their main color. Elphys's is regular fire. So that is just something else I recognized.
What in blazes are you wearing?
This?
Also, how Elphys is stuck in the past, stuck in the present moments, can't see the future outcomes of things because they choose not to see the future outcomes. Meanwhile, Moros sees into the future, acknowledges the future, and is able to make decisions based on that. But Elphys only sees the present implications of things. So, like, for example, it's why they're so against chaos. Because, for example, something bad happens to you, let's say, right? In that present moment, you feel awful. You feel horrible. But later on, as you start to grow because of that, good things happen from that bad event. Elphys can't see the good that happens after the bad event. Moros can. Because there could be good and bad implications in the future. But because Elphys doesn't choose to acknowledge the possible bad and good, they're not able to see the good that comes from Moros. They're only able to see the bad that is presently happening because of them.
It's a suit. It's going to be all the rage in the future. I figured it looked pretty dapper.
It does, though.
Really?
What?
So that is what you go to the Fates for? Fashion advice?
I could say the same with your blindfold.
But that's
Only wearing it because of the fates.
My blindfold is not a fashion statement. It is a rejection of their premonitions.
But you still acknowledge them, right?
I refuse to see.
You know, I can't help but also see this applying to Cal's POV. I'm sorry, but I can also see this in Cal's POV. Because, for example, Khonsu. Khonsu is all-knowing, all-seeing, all-knowing. And they cause a lot of chaos by doing so. But also, they can see both the good and bad of things. But they try to go against that fate, against the fate, like Elphys goes against the fates, because they want something good to happen. They don't want any of the bad. But the bad is necessary. That's what they're both failing to see. Like, I guess I could see this as, you know how Elphys is hope. Elphys is what you see usually as good, and Moros is seen as bad, seen as chaos. Set, deity of chaos. Khonsu, order, time, that's his thing. And meanwhile, by following Khonsu, Cal's been a lot more unhappy than he usually is. And they themselves are also a yin and yang, Set and Khonsu, like how these two are yins and yangs of each other. I'm sorry, I just had to put in that as an extra thing because I noticed it, and it's very cool how that's also a parallel.
It's your stubbornness coming, but you still acknowledge them.
And this is also why the blindfold's a bit of a weird thing, because, once again, Elphys is like, I wear it as a rejection of the fates and what they have to tell me. But they still acknowledge the fates. But why are you not seeing what they have to show you? Because you want to be in denial. Once again, Drannis, the old Drannis, very naive, but yet very hopeful.
Right.
I refuse to see them.
They refuse to see them.
It's your stubbornness coming through, Elvis.
And remember, Mors, the Davis's character, Mors is like, the fates. Like, everything that the fates have said is not being reliable anymore. It's not able to be trusted anymore. Oh yeah, and if the audio just got a bit weird, sorry. But it's very confusing, but like the fates are not being able to be relied on anymore, but they are kind of order. They are the order of things. But they're not being followed necessarily anymore. They're acknowledged but not followed. They've lost control. Why? People like Elvis. People like Khonsu. Going against the fates. But you know what's happening now? Chaos. Because of what they're doing.
Listen, me and the Fates got into a bit of an altercation.
Altercation, is it?
Last we spoke, yes. Before we got locked away here.
Also, the fact that their house, Drannis and their sister's house, is the middle ground between these two.
And I would rather not see anything they wish to show me. Especially those dreadful things. How do they expect to show me all these terrible things happening, and then just tell me to sit back and not do anything because it is fate?
Does that not sound like Cal?
At least if I do not see it, they cannot accuse me of going against them.
And that's the thing. If they are able to hope blindly, and they don't see anything that the fates show them, they can keep doing things that they believe are good and not see the implications of it. But because of that, they can't see the bad implications that come from their actions. Why do you think Drannis was so mad that Elphys brought back Dran? It was, remember, bringing people back from the dead necessarily is seen as a bad thing. And he's following the fates. Fate is bound to happen. It's not changeable. It could just be avoided, and then it happens eventually. All I'm getting from this and saying, basically, both Elphys and Moros are in the wrong. But Elphys is even more in the wrong, because what they're doing is not necessarily helping. It's helping in the present moment, but not long term.
And you still believe you're all fine and dandy, all just regular good. You're the good.
Yeah, they still keep believing that they're fine. It's denial. That's what Elphys really is. Denial. Denial that this is bad. Denial that people are able to... Denial that there are some people who can't be saved. But in a way, blind hope can be good. but in a way it's bad. It's a yin and yang.
One in this, well, dynamic.
Am I not?
No, you are not.
You're not good. And they
Neither of us are.
But notice they don't say that they're also good. They say that they're also bad. Both of them are good, both of them are bad. Like how before with Janice's sister, they didn't acknowledge that they were in the right either. They acknowledge that they were also, like, they're both kind of in the wrong. Like, they don't say that they're the good guy. They're not the good guy. They know this. They acknowledge this. Their symbol is the eye. They acknowledge that they are in the wrong, but they also acknowledge that the other's in the wrong.
You say that. However, I'm the one made to save the humans from you.
This is also a very interesting thing. Because even though Elvis was made, they say they're made to protect the world from doom, from chaos. That's what they're made to do. And they say because of this, once the box is opened, you won't have to be here. You'll just disappear. But the thing is, just like you have no reason for existing if I'm not here, but it's the same the other way around. If there's only chaos, was there a need for hope?
I'm the one who got introduced to them as a relief from you.
But, this is another thing. Chaos came first. Then came hope and peace. It was a relief from morals, from chaos. But without chaos, there wouldn't be any hope. Because there's no chaos to hope that it will be relieved from. If there was nothing bad happening, you wouldn't hope that, oh, I hope something bad happens, or I hope something good happens, because something good is already happening to you. You need something bad to be happening so you can hope for something good.
I think it's quite clear who the good one is.
No, it's not.
You say these things, yet you know that I am not only doomed for the humans, right?
In a way, more symbolizes clarity, like acceptance. And Elvis is more denial of what they know is true.
I'm doomed for everything, gods included.
Yeah, once again, they're doomed for everything, including gods. But meanwhile, you have Elvis. Elvis focuses on the humans. Meanwhile, Moros focuses more on the root of the problem. Once again, kind of like how anyone goes apeshit in this series, everyone's hoping for Cal to go apeshit because you need them to go apeshit in order to get to the root of this issue. If you just glance it over, clean it up momentarily, it's gonna happen again. Just, you keep brushing it over. But Morris gets to the root of the issue. Their chaos also includes gods. Also includes them. Because even the gods are not guiltless. Meanwhile, Elvis is simply focusing on the people and how much harm this is doing to people. And the demigods, they don't focus on how the gods also are a part of this.
You go far too hard on the humans.
Once again, focusing on the humans.
Is my issue with you.
Once again, they said my issue with you is how hard you are on the humans. They're not talking about the gods. They don't care about the gods. They don't care about the demigods even necessarily. They're part god, part human, but they don't care about them as much. That's why they seem like, it's such a chore to go and do this. Moros embodies everything. Elvis mainly focuses on the humans.
If they exist,
Twist the gods.
if they exist, they have to acknowledge my presence.
Yep. Stop it. Okay, I'm gonna stop right here.